Hear the world calling, but son, don't you listen. They're only trying to drag you back into prison, that's right.
Welcome back to What Have You. I'm Rachel Jankovic.
I'm Bekah Merkel.
Tonight, hold on, let me position this better. Tonight,
I think it's muffling. Here, let's go like that.
tonight, we bring you a rare treat.
Guess what time of day it is?
Here's the problem.
It's tonight.
It's the night, and we're all overtired and possibly unfit for public review. Nonetheless,
Possibly slap
we're
happy.
coming to you live from a new vista, a
Yeah.
new overlook. We've been nudged by the authorities too many times, and I think Bekah and I are going to start to find out now if they suspect people in the golf parking lot of sinister deeds also.
We're looking at the golf course, and I would say it's an uptick.
It is. I was thinking, why have we have had people who come to town and go check out the vista behind Goodwill just because they're curious. And I feel like we could have pulled ourselves off as a lot tonier if this is what we were looking out on all this time.
This is much better. And the thing is I think we heard, didn't we, the cops check out up there.
That's a place
often.
where they suspect the drug misdeeds of going down in Moscow. Drugs / Christian living podcasting. There's a nice mashup.
Yeah.
You know.
So we're gonna take our business elsewhere.
Yeah,
We're gonna sit here in the parking lot looking over the golf course.
Yeah, that's what we're up to.
At least
tonight.
for right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we made it through that weekend. You made it through that weekend.
Oh.
And now, guys, all that we have on the to-do list is the next couple of months. It's things
For
are
me, it's
slowing
like
down.
The next 4 days of doom. But I've gotten through the last
12 weeks
48
of
days
doom or
of
whatever.
Yeah, we had a spree, like a full-on spree of things at our house. I think maybe I talked about it, but then we kind of went off the grid for a little while.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure what we've said on
Bekah
this
and I have
subject.
been,
But
unfortunately.
I did do the math. And over a 2-week period, if we go 14 days, I think we had 300 people have a meal at my house. Which
I'd like to
gives you
just
a
interlude.
vibe.
If I had some music that could sing Bragger Boaster, You Broke the Toaster, I would. I would if that had a tune and if I had the
you
tune
just
on
say,
hand.
Boom!
Boom!
What
There
was
went the
that?
toaster. Bragger Boaster broke the
No.
toaster. I have joked with the
I'm using
I
this
have
as an
joked that
excuse, not
you
a
know,
brag.
You know the Fitbit keeping track of your every step. I was like, I think it would be good to introduce the hospitality logger where it you know, you can compete with friends at how many people you had over. Bekah wants to announce before anyone comes up with such a gadget that she has done it.
Well,
she has beat us all.
I didn't. I should clarify that I didn't actually cook the meals for all those people. One of them that
Bekah,
was 50 people.
Slacker.
I was a guest at it because the freshman class was putting it on. They were just putting it on at my house. So I did not cook all the meals. It's a lot of events is the thing.
Yeah.
It keeps you hopping and it keeps you from podcasting.
Yeah,
you know.
It keeps us from making contact with each other pretty much. We've been
Basically.
a little
Aloof.
out of touch. We've been having house showings for Mom and Dad's
That's right.
house, which is a great way to get the optical illusion of doing everything while you're doing nothing, because you keep not doing things that will make a mess at home, but you do also keep leaving the house for disproportionate amounts of time for no reason. Like when you don't actually have a task.
It is kind of lovely, though, I imagine, to leave the house clean and come back and it's still clean.
No.
Try and appreciate that moment.
That is nice, except for that it is, you just keep... It turns out I'm actually not real good at this phase. This is not my spiritual gift. When things are clean, I think, what shall we then do? And the answer that is not the right answer is start a bunch of projects in the house.
Yeah, snip a lot of yarn
and
bits.
we have Grandparents' Day coming, so we have history projects and dioramas and things happening. So, it's
Totally.
good. We'll make it through May. We always call it Maymageddon because May is
I
just...
think we call it mayhem. I don't remember ever hearing Maymageddon.
Really? I think it's just Evan says that. People here, at least in town, May is an intensity,
It is
intensity's time.
We're very much oriented around the school calendars here. Like the whole town is, because it's a university town. Everything kind of...
It's like a heightened...
Yeah.
When the students all leave the university for the summer, it's like all of a sudden that feels like summer. Like you go to the grocery store, it's quiet. You go, but in the whole hubbub of graduation time, there's a lot of extra people in town. There's a ton of traffic. There's parties. There's a million events that you need to go to.
Everyone gets married.
Right. It's just kind of a lot going on in May.
Yeah,
but now that we've said all that,
we had an anniversary. Well, we got married in May. Then we had a child in May. Then we have all of our children graduating in May, and then it's always a thing.
Oh, and also it's getting down to the track meet time of regionals and state coming up.
Yeah,
that's all really fun.
I have a protocol dress I have to sew by next Monday.
Just keeping it casual, keeping it all casual. Oh, bad.
I know. I'm also sewing. Well,
It's making me yawn. I try to not yawn anymore, but I don't think I've really given it up. Yeah.
I'm having to hem a whole bunch of table runners also for the President's Dinner, which is on Wednesday.
I like how, to illustrate the stress, Bekah emphasizes the first syllable of the word. He said, I'm having to hem a lot of table runners for the President's Dinner.
I didn't know I did that.
Okay, but
I'll watch for that in the future.
Yeah, keep an eye on it. This is
maybe I'll say the President's Dinner.
Ooh. Once upon a time, someone read aloud a poem before they canceled the poems at Disputatio, but somebody read aloud a poem and they were getting so into the presentation of it that they started trying to emphasize the beats real hard, but they got off. So it was once upon a midnight dreary while I pondered weak and weary. And
No, you're doing it right. That's just doing it weird. But weren't they going, once upon a midnight dreary as I wandered?
Am I not even able to say it backwards?
No.
Oh, my word.
It takes a special gift to be able to emphasize it wrong.
And one time I sat through a public reading of The Lady of Shalott, and that is what takes me to a mental place that I cannot... It's almost like probably if you were getting put on anesthesia. Like it actually sort of parallels to my time of getting my tonsils out when they put the mask on you and you're breathing grape flavored air, but you're it's making you real weird and you're going out but then you view your body from above. You're like, well, in order to not come unglued at this public reading of The Lady of Shalott, I am trying to think about anything else. Think about something. Do not, vacate the premises mentally so that you are not getting so amused by this. And then it
was somebody who maybe had taken Anne of Green Gables a little too much to heart.
No, because if you took Anne of Green Gables to heart, you would know how foolish it is to get into The Lady of Shalott. But it was more like an Anne of Green Gables who never floated away anywhere and had an embarrassing moment about it, right?
So she did apparently have an embarrassing... Well, maybe it wasn't.
I don't think so. I think
you were embarrassed for her.
I remember it just started getting more and more intense. Like every time that I thought I wasn't gonna, that I was like, all right, I've wandered off mentally, I'm okay, I would hear in the background, "Under the stars in Camelot," and then I would be like, I'm dead. And so as the time progressed, and that is an unfortunately long poem.
It is long, yeah.
If you're having a hard time with it, it won't stop. It's coming for you on the next refrain.
Yeah.
And I had most of my fist in my mouth. And you're trying not to laugh. And the fact that you should not laugh escalates the situation times
more.
a million. If you could have just sort of snorted at the beginning, but then you're repressing and repressing and repressing, so that it's this problem. It's like, when it breaks, I'm going to do like a huge rip, snort, wheeze, cough. Yeah, like, and I was unfortunately, in a prime space that it would have been really bad if I had done that. And so I was like in the middle front, it was so bad. And every time I try to not notice, and I look over my shoulder, and then I see somebody else in the audience with their head in their hands, and then it's like I gotta come unglued. I did live through that, but barely. I think I probably started crying afterwards or something. It was like one of those displaced emotions. And it just goes, I'm going to read for you today The Lady of Shalott.
Oh, wow.
And Camelot. Oh, yeah. It's probably a good poem if you can get past
Maybe
its fan base.
I think what happens sometimes with poetry readings gone rogue is people invent their very own accent. They're trying to make it sound more toney and more poetic, and so they whip out their very own pronunciation
Well, this
guide.
was a young person, so it's not like I imagine they sorted it out later. This wasn't a great idea, but
you know what I mean? When somebody commences what they imagine is a Scottish accent when they're trying to do a Burns poem.
Oh. It's the Frem shaman, isn't it? It's the just humiliation on behalf of someone that is not themselves suffering from it, which is an interesting problem to have.
I know.
But man, the not laughing, the more serious the situation, the worse it gets for me.
It gets hard.
Yeah.
It does. It's like at a wedding. If things are going funky at a wedding, it's really tough.
At my good friend Bonnie's wedding, that was a time of exhaustion because we did a lot for their wedding, like setting up the reception and doing all, we had a lot going on.
Right.
And then in the middle of the ceremony, her brother passed out, which
I remember that.
It was on a hollow stage. So when he hit the ground, it made the biggest noise, but he came to as he hit the ground. So we didn't stop anything because Dad was doing the service, and he just looks at him, and he was already like getting back up, so it was just kind of pressed on, So then there I was up on the stage trying to act like nothing. He just crashes and booms and then back up, and so you're trying to just be like, yeah, we're just here for this ceremony. Nothing happened of value that we need to talk about. Nothing happened. Be casual. And then they had done, this was at the U of I admin there, and it's a beautiful building, but there were no central stairs up on the stage. So for a wedding, they would do this thing where they put like a choir riser on top of another riser or something and put black tablecloths on it so it looked like black stairs.
Right.
That was what the event center
Not what
did.
health and safety would
We didn't do it. They did
argue for.
And I don't know how this all came to pass, except for at the end of the ceremony, as we're leaving, the bride and groom go down first, and then the best man and the maid of honor, and then the groom's brother and I go to walk down there.
The same one who passed out?
No, the groom's
Oh,
was
the groom's
Adam.
brother. Yeah.
So we're walking along, we step on the top step of that thing, and I still actually don't know what happened to it, except for that when everybody was walking, I think it had nudged it, like when couples ahead of us were going down or coming up or something, it like got the whole thing off balance. So, and how tall do you think that stage is?
It's pretty high. 4 feet, maybe? 5.
Yeah, it's not
5,
it's not super low. It's like 4 and a bit, maybe. So we step on the
like
top.
5 steps up. I mean, it's...
Yeah. We step on the top step of this riser, and it just tips forward. Like, it just launches us. And I think it may have been collapsing. I don't know what it was doing. But what happened is that in our tux and formal, we leapt off of the stage together. Like, it was like we just stepped on the top step, and then we jumped because the stairs were falling down, and we landed it. Like, we landed it, but in a like deep squat basically in the laps of the people in the front row. And this after somebody passed out on stage. And at that point, when I was when it was okay to laugh,
Yeah.
I think it just started with tears running down my face, like a near hysteria.
Yeah.
And there was a little boy who was at that wedding who said, I am so glad we were sitting in the front for that wedding. When the little boys are wishing they could get a good view, you know it was a lively wedding.
Oh, yeah.
So that was a good one.
My word.
That was a good time. Leaping off of the stage.
In a squat.
Okay, so I had a question for you that this is...
for me.
Yeah, this has been on my mind.
Okay.
It's important.
Okay.
All
I'm
right.
ready. I'm geared up.
In the subject matter of hospitality,
Yep.
since you have proclaimed yourself tonight to be such an international all-star.
I didn't. I feel like we need to go back and
I want to give her no rest. I want to give her no
re-listen to
rest.
these remarks.
Give her no rest about it. No, so here's my problem. However many plates you have is not enough.
Nope.
However many cups you have is not enough.
Nope.
However many napkins, not enough. Now, there is nothing more boring in the whole world than only having one thing to set on your table. If you're doing the table all the time, I mean, what a drag to perennially have to resort to the same napkin.
Well, that's true.
You know, and it's fine to have old, tried and true favorites, but at some point you're like, you know what I'd like? I'd like to not look at this.
Can I just interject really quick, though? Because somebody did ask a question about how do we have enough materials for these big events. I have sort of hit the point where it's like, if you're going to buy one, you probably should buy 48.
Yeah, but that's my point. If you buy 48, 55 people are coming.
Yeah, it's true. But
there is no threshold at which point you have enough dishes.
No, but as you know, my kitchen has no storage. But I have done the thing of like go to Ross and buy a box of glasses, like 12 wine glasses, dirt cheap. It's way cheaper than going to the dollar store because you can buy a dozen for $6.99 or something. You know what I mean?
Is that those Libby boxes?
They're not that neat, but
they're
if
fine.
you just I have like 6 boxes in the basement, and
I like those cardboard box ones because they have nice
dividers in it.
Yeah.
And so we just lug the boxes up when it's time to set the tables, and then I try to just put them back in the boxes and send them back to the basement, so you're not like breaking them by using them for dinner all the time and stuff. But I have a bunch of things like that in the basement for when you have a big group.
Right.
And we had it. One of the things, I say 300 people, but that really is cheating because each batch was like 50 people at a time. So, and 2 of them were all disposable. Like the soup night thing is very disposable, but I can't sit down more than, like, we sat down 52 people in my front 3 rooms of the house, and that was as tight as it could get. I really think if you have 48, I can't imagine a time when I would be trying to sit down that many more people. You know, at that point, just go to the rental place and rent it, because
48.
No, I mean, like,
I'm gonna have to figure out in our new house how many we could seat reasonably, and then try to have that many.
Here's a hot tip. I like it myself, but it is a bit weird. I bought I went to the like brewing section of the store that we have here. It's like the home brew supplies, and they have these very tall glass, like thin glass bottles that are kind of individual sized glass bottles with a long neck, just clear glass, and they come in a box of like 2 dozen. So I have 3 boxes of those in my basement, and they're kind of fun for setting the table. You can just fill them all up with water and put one at each place, which does cut down on your need for more glasses.
I wouldn't mind trying to clean those out.
I just put them in the dishwasher.
Yeah, but they don't dishwash out well, do they?
Well, I wouldn't put sticky substances inside. I only use them for water. Yeah. And then it's enough to sterilize them and everything. And it's not like you're trying to rinse out the sludge from the bottom, because I only use them for water. Well, and then you don't have to have like water glasses for everyone.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's very it's truly complicated. But so partly I have decided to just be okay with some mixing and matching.
Sure.
I have a lot of white dishes, and I have to say, I'm going to just give you this promotional, although I myself am sick of it right now, so I'm not currently doing it, but it is, however, a good idea.
Okay.
No, it's not true. I am doing it, but I just
You're
like
not
it right
in the
now.
mood.
I've done it for years, so it might be fresh to you, which is the tempered glass plates is a really smart way to have a lot of plates that don't take up your whole life.
Corral.
Because they're not all Corral brand. I bought some that were like, what were they? Moon or something. They were some kind of a weird brand that were just plain white, but they stack like 25 of them will fit in the same, no, more than 25. You could probably fit like 50 in the same space that might hold like 8 earthenware kinds of plates. I mean, like they just stack like bonkers, and they're lightweight for setting, like for their
For lugging around.
well, much lighter because one person could carry 50 of them out to set,
Sure.
Instead of having to keep
Yep.
coming back in. And they, Mom bought a bunch when we use those a lot for Sabbath and outside dinners. And like she has some that have blue bands around the outside, some that have red, some that are white. So, like.
And those are great for a like totally cute casual time.
Yeah, but the white ones don't have to be, if it's plain white, it doesn't have to be casual because it can actually go in other applications.
Sure.
I had glass chargers. I had chargers for the plates.
Mm-hmm.
So they were big plates and smaller plates on them. Like it looked like China, except for they stack way smaller.
Okay.
And that is an advantage. It just is. Glassware, I have nothing to help anyone with. It does not matter how many glasses I buy. We break all of them.
Well, that's why
Except
I like
for
the
like
ones
the one
that,
weird old one that's ugly.
Yeah,
That'll just
always,
linger.
always.
Yeah.
Well, that's why like if I'm doing ones that are for when I'm having a big group over, I do stick them back in the box and throw them in the basement.
Yeah.
Because it is a pain because whenever you get a dozen of them, you're gonna break
like,
3 and then
I don't have that. Yeah.
And I do try when I'm doing that to pick something that is replaceable in a way that'll still basically match, which is why those glass bottles are really nice. And then I like the glass bottles too, because if you have like a wine glass and a glass
Let's just
bottle,
say it. We gave her tips.
Look at that. I know.
We had tips.
But it varies the height, and it's not like having 4 of the same exact glass.
Yeah, which starts
there.
to feel so repetitive.
Yeah, it's just kind of novel.
And so one thing, this is the thing I've been thinking about. I have a lot of fabric.
Yeah.
And I want more napkins.
Mm-hmm.
What to do?
Well, I have a great solution.
I have actual problems with this. I mean, this is
Tell me now.
My mother-in-law gave me some napkins that I really enjoy. In the summer, I think they're hilarious. They're like lightweight, funky printed. They're old vintagey ones that she bought somewhere. They're but they just have a rolled, surged edge. My serger, though, is not of the kind that behaves well for that kind of task.
Oh, leaves big gaps.
It's just not, I just don't trust it to do what we wanted it to do. So I can't do that.
I'll tell you.
But I want more of them.
It's not that hard to do a mitered corner hem. And
I know, but then if you have I know I can do a mitered quarter hem, but would you do that with something that was just quilting fabric? Like just like a printed cotton? Would that be just so noticeably homemade as a napkin?
Well, I think that there are some important things to think about with napkins when it comes to the weight of your fabric, because quilting fabric is too light, I think, for a napkin.
That's what I think. Also, I think I don't, because then I wonder.
And the weave is not dense enough, really, or something. It's not quite hefty enough.
It feels like it would feel a little bit wrong as a napkin.
If you can get a slightly heavier weight.
Fun if it would be cute.
Yeah, if you had a slightly heavier weight cotton.
Yeah, so then my other problem is, why in the world do people make napkins of such a frumpalicious fabric?
Where they curl up when you wash them?
What's
I
wrong?
hate that.
What's wrong in the world that we're making a big Rumpelstiltskin out of our napkins?
I have some really cute ones that I really love. But when they come out of the dryer, they look like you wadded them up in a sock and put them through the dryer that way. Yeah. It's really annoying.
I have found some improvements by using a fabric softener in the napkin load when I'm drying them.
Well, like a sheet of
Sheet.
bounce. I always use that though. It
Do
does
you?
nothing.
I don't. I am not a bounce user. But so
Sorry.
Becca should crack herself up with some texting that she needs to get done. So
Sorry, it's just a family text that was coming through and making me laugh.
okay, so anyways,
So on
my
the napkin
point,
question.
I have some heavier fabric that I know that would be cute as a napkin, so I'm gonna use that. But I just always feel like it would be better if I could just whip off with some new napkins. Although I don't know who I'm kidding, because miter cornering 48 new napkins is no small cheese.
Well,
work.
yes and no. Oh my gosh, do you remember the time?
Yeah.
Oh, I did this, and it was probably like 16 people or something. It was not big, but it was enough that I was like, oh, I'm going to make
It
napkins.
speaks.
This was so irritating. I was like, I'm going to make napkins to go with my dinner. And this is at a time in my life when I was making napkins to go with the dinner. Right now, my life is me running to the store at 4 when I have a whole bunch of people coming for
This
dinner.
was like a more artful time.
Yeah, and something where I probably thought about it for like a solid 6 weeks before the event. Anyhow, that's so funny thinking about that. Anyway, I had this kind of cool kind of cotton that had a little bit of a nubbly texture to it. Like it was
It's like a waffle weave.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It
With
wasn't
some
a
kind of
loose waffle
no,
weave.
it was some
just.
kind
It
of
had like a.
yeah.
It had a cool texture going on, and I decided to do it. I think because of this very problem of trying to make it engineer a napkin that won't curl up.
Right.
So I was like, oh, I know what I'll do. I will actually piece a separate stitched on border around the whole thing with mitered corners.
You know, it's one of those moments where you're like, I know what I'll do.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll like sew a frame onto each napkin, and I did that. I like you know, you have to make the little angled corners and then fold the edge under and then top stitch everything, and they were quite cute, and I used them at the event, and then I washed them after the event.
And they went the way of the area run.
Seriously, we're like cocktail napkins. And the border fabric shrunk at a different rate than the middle. And so they did not maintain their elegance.
They were really pretty high labor, one-time use only napkins.
It was like a green linen that I was using as
It wasn't
the border.
linen. It was a super lightweight, but really pretty color. Oh no! I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Let's talk
you're
about
doing it.
something more serious than all of our
my
crafting problems.
Well, yeah, but anyway,
We need something to bring us down a little bit.
Gosh, I know. Anyways, what would you like to talk about?
Other than my napkin dilemmas.
Just sit down with your iron and commence to
Do you know
ironing
that-
the hem down.
So, like, I pick at problems like this. I'm like, you know what's wrong in the world? Napkins are wrong in the world. I'm like, you know what's wrong? Having 125 napkins that you're trying to store. So, I'm like, why doesn't the world have any systems available for those of us who need a lot of napkins to store?
You had
I've been all over this scene.
we were in pizza boxes about this last time we spoke.
I have pizza boxes in the cabinet.
How's
But
it going for you?
interestingly, that's really effective. It's just not attractive. It is the pizza boxes do not have their edges folded
Hire
up.
a
It is
woodworker.
essentially
to make you pizza boxes out of balsa wood.
I started thinking that one of those big, like some version of a large clipboard would be good. But
Oh, interesting.
like where you have a whole stack of them and then you just clip them on and then you could store them vertically.
That's weird.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I haven't done it.
Well, maybe if you had one of those like minimal clips at the top rather than a big bunchy one. I'm just thinking that clip. We've wandered. That clip is going to take up too much space in your cupboard. Oh, dear heavens.
Currently, I have pizza boxes with the edges not folded. There's no need for it to have been a pizza box.
Maybe you could have
have
like a
been
revolving, like a greeting card display center.
Yeah,
with all of your clipboards on it.
I know you're all thinking what's wrong in the world that you're having this much trouble with your cloth napkins, but let me tell you, that's what's wrong in the world. It's like, it's very hard. Because if you go all minimalistic, you know what? You're going to be, in a hot minute, bored. Setting your table is going to be a draboo affair. It'll be like, there's nothing fun about this.
Oh, my gosh.
Anyways, I have a lot of...
I think you just are going to have to reckon with hemming a lot of napkins.
Yeah, and I will tell you that this is what got me down the rabbit hole of watching the instructional videos of the Miele rotary iron.
Sounds like I need this because I'm about to have to have...
I know you do. It's like a $3,000 iron. And I'm watching it like, look, if I had this $3,000 iron,
I could hand stitch
I'd be
cheap
the kind
fabric napkins.
I would be the kind of woman who ironed the sheets, because it is a beautiful thing to watch in action. It's basically a mangle.
I want a mangle so
Yeah,
bad.
well, this
Rachel,
is what you want. It's
there's
called
one-
a Miele rotary iron.
There is a thrift store in Lewiston
Oh, yeah.
advertising a mangle.
I've seen it. I looked at it. I called it.
I very nearly swerved to the side.
I've gone and looked at it. Is it the?
You have?
Yeah. Is it the Salvation Army over by the
It's
near
over in
Costco?
Clarkston. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that pig in there.
I like that you've actually gone in. I
actually
panicked
went
in the
in.
car.
I actually went in. They weren't advertising it. I just found it in there, and I was like, "What? This might be what I'm missing in my life." But
it is what I'm missing.
No, I watched a video. Of someone using one of the old ones, and it moves too slow for me. And I can't think of anything more depressing than sitting down with a mangle that still wasn't getting it done.
You could install a little mangle room in your new house.
Yeah, well, the Miele rotary iron, for those of you who have a discretionary $3,000 ironing budget. I don't deserve that yet, but I like the idea.
Oh,
and
what can you use it for besides sheets and tablecloths? Although I could put the hurt on that right now.
Napkins, sheets, and tablecloths. Actually, you can use it on. I mean, you can.
It's not like you can use it on clothes.
No, you could shoot pants right on through that thing, and I'm sure you can use it on clothes because
but
all
shirts
it is.
wouldn't work.
Yeah,
Unless
you would just do it like put the sleeve through, put the front through, because it's open on both sides. So, anyways, guys,
I can't picture that, but anyway.
Well, it's enticing. I myself have spent some time looking into it, and
awesome.
Can't say I'm any closer to purchasing.
Maybe
but I
you
know
could
it's
just
out there.
Invest in $3,000 worth of cloth napkins that you throw away at the end of dinner. And then basically money saving. I think we've put way too much time in on this podcast in the napkins. Gosh, that's for sure.
I'll tell you, I read a depressing book.
Let's not talk about that.
Well, everybody wants to know about my depressing book.
I don't want to.
Okay, I won't tell you about that. I'll keep my
Keep
depressing book news to
Keep
myself.
that one buttoned up, Rach.
All right, fine. What do you want to talk about? I don't think we're certified to be podcasters.
No, probably
right
not.
now.
Probably not.
We could go back to the napkins.
The clipboard motif.
One time we had a really bad spell where we went deep into tin cans. Do you remember?
Oh, but we put that one out there. Everyone knows this about us.
I know, but well, only if they listen.
I don't remember what we talked about with tin
Oh,
cans.
we just went really deep into crafting.
We've got to
tin can
veer out
times.
of the slump.
Yeah. Yep,
Yeah.
we gotta pull out of it.
Yeah.
All right. What's your ambitious March? Nope, we're not in March.
Ambitious what now? May
May goal.
My ambitious May goal. Well, I'll tell you my ambitious week goal is I have to make all these table runners, 12 8-foot table runners, which if you'd like to do the math on how many linear feet I will be ironing the hems on, this is why I'm telling you to just make your own napkins.
Just buy a Miele rotary
I'm doing that.
iron.
That has to be done by Wednesday. The graduation reception for NSA is on Thursday, which I have a lot of lovely help with this year, so that's great. I did last year too, but this year even more. So that's exciting. Then I have to make a protocol dress, and that's what I'm going to be doing this week. Oh, I wallpapered my dining room.
Oh, yeah,
Since
you
last
did.
we spoke, everyone.
I think you said something about it, didn't
Did I?
you?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
So that was good.
My
I got
husband
that
is
up.
priming our new house.
That is very, very
The
fun.
inside of the new house. Priming. Before we notice how many decisions we still have left to sort out. My kitchen sink is in the mail.
Is it?
Well, not.
Oh.
It's actually on a truck, and it's going to need a forklift to get it out.
I'm really excited about
I
your
know.
sink.
Me too. I'm hoping that it turns out to be pretty.
Yeah.
Not just a behemoth of
Because
hard
I
work.
was wallpapering my dining room, I am going through and changing, I know I've said this before, changing all the electrical stuff, like getting different switch plates and outlets and everything. But the other thing I needed to update in the dining room was the thermostat. So I needed to order a new one based solely on aesthetics, of course. And then I found myself ordering a smart thermostat, which I haven't gotten it out of the box yet, and I'm not really sure if I've just ordered up
Is it the Eye of Sauron?
the Beast of Revelation to put on my
I'll tell
wall.
you, when we had an Echo, sometimes it would be off in the corner in one room. And the kids would all be in bed, and Luke and I'd be talking in the living room, and all of a sudden the Echo would be like, "I'm sorry, I didn't hear that." You'd be like, "What?" That's so strangely unsettling.
I know. And the thing is, this one,
We broke the Echo.
we can have the app on the phone to adjust the temperature and see that, seems kind of nice in a way.
Did
Yeah.
that really shock you?
No, I saw them coming.
I did not see them coming, and it gave me a startle. Some people just can't.
Emerged.
They
over
emerged
the lip
from the
of
golf
hill.
course, just sort of right there. Yeah. So I don't know. Did you just invite the overlords into your home?
Basically.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, should I do it? I don't know. Ben was on a trip, so I was wrestling with this just myself. I was like, I think I couldn't get in touch with him right then when I was trying to decide which thermostat to order. And so I was like, well, if the government decides to heckle me through the thermostat,
They can find other ways.
I was like, I carry a device around in my pocket every day that would give them far more insight into my life than my thermostat. So I'm probably safe.
I like that.
On
There's
the
that
thermos.
meme. There's that meme that was in the 60s, everybody being like, be careful, the government might
Big
wiretap
Brother
you.
is watching.
Yeah, and then, but now people are saying, hey, wiretap, can cats eat pancakes? That idea that we're so comfortable with that invasion of privacy.
I know. So
I
anyway,
was
I don't
thinking
know what I
that
think.
about when I flew recently. When did we, when did we all just kind of go along with these full body screenings?
Well, they changed them, I thought. Didn't they change them from the original panic-inducing ones that everyone freaked out about, and including myself?
I don't think so.
I
Isn't
think they
that
have.
what we have happening all the
I
time?
don't think so.
Huh. Well, I'll tell you, routinely I get pulled aside by what seems to be the world's least physically fit or first line of defense person to pat you down in a set of gloves while they take themselves so seriously as though they are really finding out.
I think my theory is the smaller the airport, the more
more
officious the security.
I think it's probably the case.
Yeah.
I think it probably is. So
Probably where, all of our finest terrorists are beginning in small airports. I don't know.
oh man.
But they do take themselves quite seriously.
Yeah,
there.
so I thought of something we could talk about.
Okay, well, do, because we're almost done. So
Are
it'd
we?
be good
Yeah, so that's,
good if
we're
we said a
really,
thing.
I'm sorry about it that we drifted so hard this week. But I want you all to focus on your appreciation that we showed up.
You might not appreciate it anymore.
I mean, you might be over us at this point. Okay,
Yeah, what do you want to talk about?
Well, I was gonna say we're gaining strength, ready to launch the summer Bible reading challenge.
Oh, yeah.
Coming up.
That's great.
That will start on June 3rd, is because we're finishing the whole year, and then June 3rd is
Yep.
when we kick off the New Testament for the summer. And bring all your friends and all your neighbors and all your children and any beginning Bible readers. This is a great time to get people into it, and any experienced Bible readers, this is a great time to use your experience to encourage others in being in the Word, instead of thinking, oh, well, it's still an ambitious pace. It's still enough to read the whole Bible in the summer. But we're hoping to make it really friendly to people who have not done that ever before. That's
great.
It's a great entry point.
Is there an app for the summer?
Yeah, well, it's the same apps. We'll still have it. Hopefully, it will be available as a study on YouVersion, and so there's going to be expanded app options.
Okay.
We've gotten the plan added in different places, so it will be available in all the same places it was, and hopefully a few others. And we're using the hashtag #SamePageSummer, which is the idea is that it's time we all got on the same page, literally getting on the same page. And I'm really excited about it. I think that the Bible reading just is so fundamental, and yet it's so much fruit from something that almost sounds like a flippant way to answer someone's, when someone's having problems, to be like, have you read your Bible?
Yeah, it does seem like a brush off.
It seems almost like, are you not wanting to deal with my problems? And it's like, no, actually, it really is an incredibly effective help. Mm-hmm. And we just minimize that all the time, I think. And I have this theory that I was just thinking, Facebook is so political, and Twitter is so political, and, they have all these things going on. But one thing, in all the oppression that is going on everywhere, the Bible is not being in any way monitored or repressed, because they actually, I feel like the enemies of God do not have reason yet to fear Christians in the Word. Like, they actually think that we know what it's like.
Yeah.
When all the Christians have their Bibles, we're like, well, we've seen that, and it's not much of a force. But it's like, but have you ever seen all the Christians reading their Bibles?
Yeah, that's a bit different.
And the answer is they are not prepared for that force. And I think, why don't we
give that a whirl?
Why don't we do that? Let's get them all in it and find out what happens when Christians are actually reading their Bibles.
Right.
Not just, seeing a verse on an app and reading that for the day and being like, oh, I'll think about that today. There's a lot of versions of sort of reading your Bible that are not really just honestly being a reader of the Word. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so if you've not been doing the Bible reading challenge with us, I'll tell you that we're not trying to teach the Word. We're hoping to teach and encourage a love of the Word and a habit of being in the Word, and help people overcome whatever little things are keeping them from being a consistent Bible reader. Bekah, what are things, what would be things that would keep you from your Bible reading in the past?
Oversleeping my alarm accidentally.
That'll do. Right?
Having to zip out the door for first period at Logos, it does mean if you accidentally go too long in the morning, then I don't have time because I have to get out the door. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing. In the past, I think I really like doing it in the morning. Now it really works for me. But one hang up that I had was that I always used to read my Bible before I went to sleep at night, like that, and I really liked it. I would get ready for bed, and then I would climb in bed, and then I would read the Bible, and then go to sleep. It was just like my little routine. Mm-hmm. But then getting married, and then everything's, like everything is different. Your schedule is different. And I really had a hard time figuring out, wait, hold on now, where am I going to stick this? And then you have kids, and especially if you're a mom at home with little kids, scheduling is like, it feels like there should be a place to put it, but
where is
it all
that
feels
place?
A little bit like everything's kind of blowing around all the time, and you're not really sure.
No, totally. Because, well, just look what happens. You schedule bedtime, but how does that go?
I know. And some people do manage, I think, to really maintain a rigid schedule, and those people probably don't struggle. But that's not me. And trying to, just finding a place where it naturally fits well. I like it now. I just kind of sit up in bed,
read right away,
drink my coffee, and do my reading and then I get out of bed, and that's handy. But it's like, if you don't have a space to put it, it's not like you don't have time in the day. It's just you don't know when you're going to have regular time every day, and that's the part that I think is
exactly
tricky.
I had a lot of time in my life where, like, I can remember I was probably in junior high, and this made an impression on me. It was a time when I learned a lesson about something. I was probably in junior high, and I was in that little bedroom on Harrison Street. Well, they were all little, but I was in the little bedroom.
Yeah.
And in that bedroom, my room was clean, and like, it was summer probably, so the light was lovely in the room. I think I had a new comforter.
Probably.
And my Bible, I had my Bible by my bed. And it was like a time where I was regularly reading my Bible and just really living in the joy of the Lord. Things were great. Who knows how long that segment was? It wasn't very long, but it was long enough to give me that sense of arrival. Like, it was long enough to make me feel like, oh, okay, this is how I'm going to do this all the time now.
Yeah.
And then when it quit, when that stopped being a thing.
What's this guy doing? He's like walking right up to your window.
A little bit unsettling again.
Yeah.
Turns out, guys, the golf.
Oh, he thought it was that car over there.
Yeah, he was going to get in the car, I think. He was genuinely
He actually was gunning for your door.
He actually was coming to get in it before he saw...
He was wearing his sunglasses at night, though, which might have hindered him.
That might be a sinister sign about where we are. Anyways, the point is, I felt real godly and things were going well for me. Some things fell off the plate at that point. I don't even know what.
Maybe the apple blossoms were no longer blossoming.
I was in the other room, but the spiritual perfection that had been reached was shattered by assorted things. And probably my room got messy. Probably it got like rainy and dark or something. And
you spilled some on your comforter.
Yeah, things just went downhill for me. And then a little while after that, I switched bedrooms. So I went to a different room, and things didn't pick up immediately. I was probably being grumpy, grumpy at the people. Probably having a fuss.
Me, because I was the only other person upstairs.
You guys should know a big insight into the big knockdown, drag-out fights Bekah and I would have as teenagers. And the text goes something like this. What's wrong? Nothing. It's fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. It's fine. It's like... It's not fine. It's fine. We're all fine. It would be like that for however long. Anyways, at this time when I was being ungodly and things were not great, I remember, so this is the second bedroom, and I remember wanting to it was really that Psalm 51 longing, that like renew a right spirit within me. Like, Lord.
I feel like it's sort of the Ubi Sunt motif.
Yeah.
For the junior high girl.
Yeah, well, what happened here is that I started thinking I needed to move back to that other bedroom. Like, I started thinking like what I need is that sunshine when my room is clean and my Bible is by my bed and the things are all going well. Like, it was that idea that somehow there were external forces that were keeping me from being godly or reading my Bible. And it turns out I didn't need to move rooms. There's actually, the funny part is I don't have it wasn't like that story wrapped up real well. It was more like I just had an insight into my own failings at that time. I didn't come away with a success. Yeah, but it wasn't like I came away with, here's how I actually am going to do it.
It is true that we often have a tendency to try to, like, style everything so that we can be godly.
Well, change the situation because we somehow think that it was the situation that made it possible rather than something else.
Like maybe a different scented candle would
and
fix my
I
tooth.
saw a couple, well, right, or like, and obviously later on in life, it's like, I was doing so well before I had kids, I was doing so well before my husband started being so annoying, or I was so godly.
So well before I had a muffin top.
I was so godly before these last 10 pounds, I was so, whatever it is that you have going, it's so easy to look longingly at like thinking a different life, even your own life at a different time would equip you to be more godly than just being faithful in the here and the now and it's amazing how quickly the unhappy, dreary space turns into a happy space when it is your heart that is corrected. It's the heart is not the last thing to come around. It is the one that leads the charge.
Indeed.
Yeah, well, I think we might have just put together the world's most boring podcast.
But it will hold our place until
and
next
it will
week
help you guys to
we come rocketing back with more insights.
Wouldn't that be good if we did? I like to think that by next week we'll have a thought. Maybe
we'll have gotten through some stuff by then.
We should pressure ourselves to do it in the daytime so we're not dwindling.
That would be good too.
Yeah.
I think that would be excellent.
I'm buckling up. You ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Guys,
are you going to turn it off or
we'll
just
see you again.
Take people on the road with us?
Yeah, we can do either. I'm just starting to feel like we should get out of this awkward spot in the parking lot.
I don't think this is our new place, Rach. I think
know
it's
there
too
was
busy.
too many. I didn't realize that in the dead of the night at the golf club. What is this place? The golf course.
Yeah.
Would be quite so hopping, but it was a little hopping.
It was.
Yeah. So,
anyway,
all right, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Talk to you next time.
Have fun.
Bye.
You think of yourself now, and then in 4 years' time, what do you want yourself to look like? And is the education that you're considering going to help you get to that place?
When you're a student, you want to become like your teacher. You're going to become like your teacher. Looking at NSA beforehand, I knew I wanted to become like the men who are teaching here.
Fireman, husband, father, doctor, no matter where you want to go, NSA is just such good preparation for the person that you want to be.
If you want to be an effective Christian, you need to be able to lead and shape culture. If you want to do that, no matter what your occupation is, you need to shape yourself, prepare yourself as a person for that job. And liberal arts is, I think, the best education you can have for that.
To learn more, check us out online at nsa.edu.